So let me share my screen, and you all promised. Okay, that's fine. We will do 8. So let's do number 8, please. And then I will start the poll. 1 second. Aha, there we go. Please follow the steps, okay? You all promised you will follow the steps, so please follow the steps. Let me start the poll. Yes, this is in the calculator section. This is calculator, correct. And please, when you're doing this, please pay attention to these options. Please follow the steps in doing these options. Notice how algebra solve is last. Please do algebra solving at the end. If you have already found a solution, I want you to try and think of a faster solution. There are many, many quick solutions. So please try and think of a faster solution. Okay, you should be getting the answer now. I have only 40% of the responses. I'm going to stop it in another 20 seconds. I really want you to try and think of another potential solution, a faster solution. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull. Okay, I'm surprised. I have very few responses for this one. So let's go through it. I'm not too sure why there's so few responses. And actually quite a few of you got this incorrect also. So let's go through this. Let's review. So the first thing, write out type of question. We don't know yet. Highlight important information. So which of the following is an equivalent form of this equation? Okay, so equivalent. Write ask clearly. So ask is equi to equation, equivalent to equation. Read through the options. We have A, we have x squared plus a constant, x squared plus a constant. Seems like we have negative 2.2. And then we have x squared minus x plus constant. So we have 3 terms here. Same thing here. The negative, the coefficient of x squared is correct. Sorry, the coefficient of x squared is the same here. The coefficient of x is the same here. And the looks like all of the non-coefficients of x are different. So this, and this are all different. So that's what we notice. Okay, I'm only writing this so that you can see what I'm talking about. So let's remove this. Then eliminate MCQ. Okay, so I want to ask you a question here before I start eliminating. Do you think you have found a solution that will take you less than 10 seconds? A solution that will, an approach to this question that will take you less than 10 seconds. Okay, so this is, I want to show you this. Oh, no, let me show you. Please, we looked at this before also. I want you to really carefully look at this. Again, this is something we really have to train. You have to train your brain's ability to think about different solutions. The more you practice this, the better you will get at this. Right now, most of you cannot think of a solution that will take less than 10 seconds. But there's a solution that will literally take less than even 5 seconds. You have to only multiply two one-digit numbers. So the long way, obviously, is to do algebra solve, but we're not going to do that. The other way is, I'm going to skip over eliminate MCQ because that's the easiest one. You can plug and chug these numbers. So look, x is not given, so it could be anything. So we can plug in 0 for x. So x equals 0. So we can remove this, and we can remove this. So then we're only working with the consonants. So we remove this, 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 and this. So all we have to do is figure out which of these will be the answers. Okay, so please, this stuff really works, guys. You have to use the steps. So plug in 0, and then look how easy this problem becomes, right? Then you can narrow down MCQ, so I will come back to that. You could also use a calculator to figure out these two problems. So essentially, this problem becomes, what is negative 2.4 squared minus 6.4? That's essentially what this problem has become for us, okay? So, so can somebody raise their hand that thinks they have the fastest way of solving this, what I've written in purple, the fastest way? Tanya, please tell me, come on out. What do you think is the fastest way of solving this?
Okay, so I did eliminating MCQ.
Okay.
I could eliminate A and B straight away because the first bracket is a whole square. So
Okay.
that means it has to have 3 terms.
Perfect.
And since the second bracket is not a whole square, the X term cannot get eliminated.
Yep.
So, and since A and B do not have 3 terms, they're already out.
Perfect.
And for C and D, since the X square term is the same, I tried to figure out the constant.
Okay.
By using the calculator, and then I got 12.16. So then C is the answer.
So you used calculator. Okay. Great. So essentially, what Tanya has done, she has narrowed down our problem to, we need to figure out what is this solve, and does this become this number or this number? This is the 2 options that we have. Okay. Can somebody give me a faster way? Ahan, what's your way? Please, faster than calculator.
Yeah, I did the same method as Tanya said, but I didn't calculate because it was 2.4 square plus 6.4. It had to be more than 0.64. So I took option C.
Perfect. Okay, so this had to be greater than 0.64, right? You have a positive term plus another positive term. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ahan. What's another way? So less than, so I'm going to write this in green. So this is an approach that is less than 5 seconds. Okay, can somebody give me another approach that's less than 5 seconds? Varuni.
You could estimate minus 2.4 as minus 2. So that becomes 4. And 6.4 is 6. And then you could guess.
Almost, yes. Estimation is good, almost. We don't even need to estimate. That's very close. Prashant, you raised your hand. What's your method?
So negative 2.4 whole square has to end in point something 6. The hundredth place has to be 6.
Perfect.
And if you do something 0.06, and since there's no hundredth place, the hundredth place in the answer has to be 6.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we can remove all of this. We don't need to do any of this. And what Prashant said is we can just realize that this won't be there, this won't be there. 2.4 squared, if you do 2.4 squared, this equals to something or something point something 6, right? Because 4 times 4 becomes 16. So this becomes, yeah, right? That's correct, right? Yes, because if you do 2.4 times 2.4, you get 6 over here, and then, yeah, okay. So just by looking at this, you can realize that the number would end with 6 in the hundreds place, and the only option with 6 in the hundreds place is C. So there was no math that needed to be done. All you had to do was do 4 times 4, and you can find out C. No calculator, no algebra, none of the stuff. You can directly eliminate MCQ. So again, this is also less than 5 seconds. So you will be surprised as to how many SAT questions there are that take less than 5 seconds. I do want to add that if you are doing these approaches, I want you to be careful. These approaches are best if you have really practiced looking for short methods, because you can sometimes make incorrect mathematical inferences. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure your mathematical inferences are correct. So like 2.4 times 2.4, You have to correctly be able to know it ends in 6 in the hundredths place, not 6 in the tenths place. Right? Great. I also want to add here that this is important. If you do one paper and you really spend time looking at these different approaches, you will learn so much. I would much rather you spend time on one paper and get all of that learning than you do numerous papers. There's 10 papers on Khan Academy. You really should not be doing more than 3 or 4. You should be getting as much of learning out from 3 or 4 papers, and then you should be ready. You should be getting 800s out of the bat if you do the preparation properly, I hope. Okay, let's go back to writing. So from now on, what we will be doing is reviewing, like math, we do one math question every day. We will review one writing question every day. And today's writing question, I want to review from yesterday's work that we were doing. There were 2 questions that were actually very difficult. I was thinking about it later on, and these questions were quite difficult. So let's revisit those questions. Whoa. Okay, so in these questions, the approach that we will take from now on is figuring out what the mistake is. Okay, so I will do this for you today, but from now on, I don't really care what the answer is because that's not learning for us. What I care about is why are the other 3 options wrong? So in this case, when we read this sentence, it says also, so I'm going to start from here. Also, studies have found that those students, so some studies have found that something. What have they found? Those students who major in philosophy often do better than students from other majors in both verbal, reasoning, and analytical writing. That's what they found. Okay, this is the finding. And these results can be measured by standardized scores. So the issue that's in here in the solutions on Khan Academy, that when your preparation, you will also be referring to these solutions. It says that results is incorrect. What's the wording that they used? They said it's a vague pronoun error because the studies found something, but these are not, what does it say? Yeah, so this is identifying a trend, but it's not necessarily a result. So this is kind of tricky. I can understand that if you're doing this, this looks like a result as well. So this can be kind of tricky. So I understand that, but the learning from this is you really have to take the literal meaning of the words. Okay, in writing, everything is very literal and very correct. So if you think it's close, don't go with that. Really be sure it's exact. So this is not exactly a result from here to here. So that's why you cross this out. This is incorrect. Don't worry about this. Here also is incorrect because the finding can only be measured through standardized test scores. You can't really measure it. You can't have an also if you don't have a precedent to also. So it can only be through standardized test scores. And then in D, results is again the incorrect one. So the correct answer is 39. The correct answer is A, which is writing as. Okay, so that's the learning here. Somebody had a good point yesterday on question number, this one, thus and therefore. So this is a very, very important point to know, that if you find 2 words that are the same meaning, you can cross both of them out. So you can cross out thus and therefore. So you can cross out both A and B because they're the same meaning. I think it was Henel, the question they asked was, if thus and therefore are there, which one do you choose? Well, you choose neither. You cross both of them out because they mean the same thing. And this will happen in many types of questions, actually, in definitions, in reading also this will happen. So if they mean the same thing, you can cross both of them out because both of them cannot be true. Okay, and I think the other one that was quite difficult was, which one was it? This one, yeah. So let's do this one, 43. Okay, so I took some time to look at this, but this tricked me also. This is quite tricky. Where is it? Ah, there it is. Okay, so let's look at the sentence. So we have that, so we have a that starting. These skills, so the subject of the subject is these skills are, so this is the verb, are transferable is the verb across professions. No, sorry. That these skills are transferable across professions. So this goes all together because of that, right? If the that was not there, then it would be these skills would be the subject and are transferable would be the verb. But because of that is there, all of this becomes one. And so that refers to all of this. The verb in this case is makes. Okay, so the verb is makes. And so the reason this is causing an error is because you are putting a which in the middle, and because of which it makes both of these disjoint independent sentences. Sorry, disjoint dependent sentences. And so the flow, it does not really make sense to join them. Same thing with here. That also, so what did they say here? This choice creates a sentence fragment error by introducing a relative pronoun that before the clause's main verb. An independent clause is turned into a relative clause, which can't stand on its own in a sentence. So the main verb, again, is makes. So introducing a relative pronoun before the main verb of the sentence, you're breaking up the independence of the sentence. So on either side, neither this nor this is an independent sentence, right? So that's the issue. Same thing here. Neither this nor this is an independent sentence. And then here we have sort of a logic error. We're saying that these skills are transferable across professions and makes them especially beneficial. So we're doing a parallel between that, X, and Y. So that this is X, this is Y. Both of these are not really parallel. It does not really make sense logically. So this is the issue here. This is why this is incorrect. And that leaves us with the right answer, which is this one. So, okay, I know this was kind of tricky. These two questions were really hard. I had to spend like quite a bit of time afterwards to try really understand what the issue is. And maybe you still don't get the issue, that's fine. Keep practicing, keep looking at these solutions on Khan Academy, read the solutions, and through practice, this will get better. Okay, so we will go back into reading. So we're gonna finish up the writing section by doing what I call the reading type questions. So this will make sense as we go through it. But how many of you had a discussion with your parents yesterday about the activity we did at the end? How many of you discussed this with your parents? Let me do that. How many of you discussed the activity of falling in love with the passage with your parents? Oh, interesting. Okay. So less than half of you. So let me share. So about 40% of you had this discussion. So I would recommend that you have this discussion with your parents today. It's really helpful and use them to help you figure out a storyline with which you can really fall in love, right? Tell your parents what that one person is that can help you fall in love, and use that storyline to really fall in love with the passage. So can everybody in chat, so I want you guys now in chat to write down your favorite Harry Potter spell. Can you please write down your favorite Harry Potter spell? Okay, we have Expelliarmus, Expecto Patronus. Where's Expelliarmus? I don't know. Abracadabra, Lumos, Expecto Patronum, Star Wars. Okay, wrong movie. Wingardium Leviosa. Ridiculous. Oh, that's a good one. Obliviate. Oh, that was a funny one, right? Okay, so Petrificus Totalis. Oh, I don't know that one. Lumos, that's a good one. All right. Akio one. All right, cool. Okay. So you guys, please, I want you to look at these words. These words mean nothing, okay? I want you to realize these words have absolutely no meaning. What is stupefy, or what is avada kedavra, or what is lumos? Like, what do these things mean? What is petrificus total? These words have absolutely no meaning, okay? Yet somehow you are able to retain them in your brain. These are literally gibberish words and they have absolutely no meaning, but you can retain it in your brain. So the reason is because, okay, fine, they're Latin. Okay, sorry, they have no meaning in English or in American English or British English, which we use today. So, and I hope none of you are taking Latin in your schools. So my point is that you are learning these Latin words. I'm sorry, I disrespected Latin words. You're learning these Latin words, but they have no meaning in English, yet you memorize them and learn them because you're interested in them, okay? So here we have a passage in front of us that actually has meaning. It actually means something. It's going to tell you about Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt is something you may have eaten. So this is something that's more real than stupefy or expecto patronus, right? So therefore, the first part of doing a passage is if you fall in love with it, if you trick yourself in being interested in it, just like the spells from Harry Potter or whatever, if you like to learn the Hobbit language or all these like other cool languages, then you can, if you can fall in love with the passage. The second part is then you will be able to understand. So understanding we'll talk about in 2 days when we start the reading. But for writing, all that's needed from you is to just fall in love with the passage. Literally, we could end class today and you have all the tools that you need to ace SAT, all the tools, because falling in love is so powerful. So I want you guys to please, as we go through the session, the second part of falling in love is fall in love with the subject. And today we're going to talk about Greek yogurt. I really want you to think that Greek yogurt is like the medicine that has been brought to you by the Egyptian gods to save humankind. Okay, Greek yogurt is the solution to coronavirus. Okay, this is what I want you guys to think. Like Greek yogurt is literally the most delicious thing on earth that you've ever tasted. And Greek yogurt is the only thing you need to know to pass your IB, IGCSE and get into your dream school, okay? So I want you to imagine that Greek yogurt is the coolest thing that will ever happen. So with these two things, the passage that is hand delivered to you from Barney or from, who did we have yesterday? We had Rick and Morty delivered a passage. We had Tiger Woods delivered a passage, right? So with that, and with knowing that the subject of the passage is the most interesting thing in the entire world, like Greek yogurt is all that there exists right now. When you read the passage, you will be a lot more involved. Okay, so I will share my screen and then I will share, we will do one question. So, actually, no, sorry. We will first talk about a method of reading questions. So let me share this. Okay, so please, I hope you're still keeping on the love of the passage and the love of Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt, we are in love. Like, oh my gosh, absolutely adore Greek yogurt, okay? In love with it. Great, so the approach I want to introduce today is whenever you see a subject, you put it in a square box. Whenever you see a verb, you underline it. So I'm going to go through this and read this, and then you guys can do this with me. So Greek yogurt, so this is our subject. Greek yogurt, a strained form of cultural yogurt, has grown, so has grown is the verb, enormously in popularity in the United States since it was first introduced in the country in the late 1980s. Okay, from 2011 to 2012 alone, sales of Greek yogurt, so this is the subject, in the United States increased by 50%. The resulting increase, this is the subject, in Greek yogurt production has forced, what is this doing here? Has forced those involved in the business to address detrimental effects that yogurt making processes can have on the environment. Fortunately, farmers and others in the Greek yogurt business have found many methods of controlling and eliminating most environmental threats. Given these solutions, as well as the many health benefits of the food, so notice how this starts with a given. So we're going to circle transitions and the other, oh my gosh, can someone remind me what that thing is called again? Subordinating conjunctions, right? We're going to circle those for now. So given these solutions, as well as the many health benefits of the food, so we have a comma. So this is a dependent clause. So that's why we don't circle a subject in this. The advantages of subject of Greek yogurt, outdo is the verb, the potential drawbacks of its production. Okay, so this is one approach you can use to try and tease out the information that's in the passage. If you square the subject and you underline the verb, you can be more engaged with the passage and know what's going on. And then you can do an overview. So we're talking about Greek yogurt here, sales, increase in production, right? Now we're talking about farmers, and then we're talking about advantages. So the passage is talking about that. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to introduce is what we call, so in your pure notes, I want you to write this down in your pure notes. So we have ideas. So there will be three things. There will be three sections. So the first is ideas, point of para, point of sentence. And trust me, this will all tie together. This will all make sense. Right now it's kind of abstract. It will all tie together. We will do number 2 later. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is look at the overall idea. So let's do this one. What's the idea of this paragraph? Okay, so we're talking about Greek yogurt. So this is, idea here is to intro Greek yogurt, okay? And its popularity. Okay, what's the point of this paragraph here? We have sales, increase in production, detrimental effects. Then we have methods and then advantages. So here we are talking about, in this para, the point is sales and impact of Greek yogurt on environment. And impact is both positive and negative because we have advantages and potential drawbacks. Okay, so that's the point of this passage. Cool. So that's the first thing. Now let's do point of sentence. So the point of sentence, if we start from here, then let's read this. From 2011 to 2012 alone, sales of Greek yogurt in the US increased by 50%. So the point of this sentence is, or actually let me write this down next to it. One is sales increased. Second sentence, the resulting increase in Greek yogurt production has forced those involved in the business to address the detrimental effects that yogurt making process may have on the environment. So biz address negative environmental impact. That's this point of number 2. And you can write this in your own words. Yours obviously will not be the same as mine. Number 3, fortunately, farmers and others, so fortunately, something good, farmers and others in the Greek yogurt business have found many methods of controlling and eliminating most environmental threats. So 3, people found solutions to problems in 2. And 4, given these solutions, as well as the many health benefits of the food, the advantages of Greek yogurt outdo the potential drawbacks. So therefore, advantages is greater than drawbacks, okay? So in our toolkit, actually, let me also write this one down. This is 0, 0.0. 0 is square subject, underline verb. Okay. So a lot is going on in this page, but I want you to write down this stuff in your peer notes, and this will all start to make sense. So this approach that we just did here, this approach here is more if you struggle with understanding the meaning of passages, then you can do this to help you actively read the passage. Okay, if you're struggling to be involved with the passage. but the real point starts from here. And we will do a question. So I want you to just keep these tools in your toolkit as you do this question. So we are going to do question number 5. Okay, so let's do question number 5, and I will start the poll now. So I want you to use, when you're doing this, I want you to use these two, or actually the only one that really makes sense is point of sentence. I want you to use the structure of point of sentence to solve this question. Okay, let's do 5. All right, I'll give you 1 more minute. If you've already done the question, then I want you to figure out what is the point of this paragraph. And then you can practice the exercise of putting a square around the subjects and putting an underline on the verbs. All right, another 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Quick question. I'm going to do a yes or no question here. Let me look at this first. 2020. All right. Yes or no question here. Was anybody looking at, so we have 5 here. Was anybody looking at moving this sentence? Was anybody moving the sentence? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, so a quarter of you, 25% of you were moving this sentence. This is the first trap of SAT writing. It says sentence 5, but it puts the 5 at the end of sentence 6, which is really annoying. But actually what we're supposed to look at is this sentence. So 25% of you did this. So please put this in your pure notes. This will come up again and again. Whenever you have this type of question, they put the number at the end, I think, and it always tricks you. So the correct sentence to work with is this sentence here. Not number 6, okay? So please add this to your pure notes. Don't make this error. From now on, you should not be making this error. You now know the trick, don't fall for it. Okay, let's go back into doing the sentence. So we're gonna do this by the approach we just discussed, the point of sentence. So let's read this. The main environmental problem caused by the production of Greek yogurt is the creation of acid whey. So 1 is talking about problem. 2, Because it requires up to 4 times more milk to make than conventional yogurt does, this is a subordinating conjunction. Greek yogurt produces large amounts of acid whey, which is difficult to dispose of. So this is saying problem described, right? It's talking about what the problem is. It's difficult to dispose of. 3, to address the problem of disposal. So again, to address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a number of uses for acid whey. So problem solution, right? We have 1, 2, 3. And then what is the sentence we're going for? So 5, let's do 5. If it is improperly introduced into the environment, acid whey runoff can pollute waterways, depleting the oxygen content. So here this is more problem described. Okay, so if you look at this, then if just looking at this, you should be able to see that problem described would go in here. So you have to have problem described, and then problem solution. So this is one approach of doing this. So the correct answer is C. Okay, now Kirtana asked a good question. The question is, how will we have time to do this on the SAT? So I just want you to, for the next 2 classes, just hang in with me. I will go through a slow approach, but trust me that this will all make sense. So this will convert itself into a much faster approach, okay? When you practice, I want you to practice like this so that when you are reading the passage, you can read the passage and without having to do these drawings and write out the meanings of the sentences, you should be in your head able to track what the meanings of the sentences are. You don't have to write this down, okay? Does that make sense? Do you guys trust me? Are you with me here? That this will get faster? This is just teaching it and showing it is slow. Does that make sense to you? Okay, perfect. 97% of you are with me. Great. Okay, so this will be slow at first, but I promise you this will convert itself and lend itself to a faster process. So this is one approach. So let's go back up. We have done, what do we have so far in, well, there's so much going on this page. Let's remove this. Okay, so we have, so far we have done 0, 1. So now I want to introduce the second method. So let's write 2. And I said we'll do 3, okay? So I want to introduce 2. 2 is what we call words. So in words, we have conjunctions. And then we have pronouns. Okay, so let me show you how conjunctions and pronouns work. When you are reading this passage, so let's remove everything over here. When you are reading this passage, just focusing on the conjunction. So we have a because, and then to address, there's not really that many conjunctions here. So because is our main one. Let's do pronouns. Pronouns, so we have it. So let's remove this one, conjunctions. Or actually, sorry, let's do pronouns in a different color. We'll do pronouns in, let's do it in brown. So pronoun in brown. We have it. So if you have an it, you have to have the subject that it refers to has to be right before, correct? So what is it referring to? It is referring to production of Greek yogurt. Okay, so you know, because it is referring to production of Greek yogurt, 1 and 2 have to go one before the other. Okay, let's keep going. To address the problem, so we have the problem. What is the problem over here? Well, the problem is the difficulty to dispose. Difficulty to dispose. And here we have problem of disposal. Now notice how they're talking about the problem, they don't say to address it. Okay, so this is interesting. They have repeated the problem of disposal. Notice how here problem of disposal is repeated and difficult to dispose is repeated. Okay, so that's interesting. And then we go to 5. If it, we have another it. Now what is it? It is improperly introduced. Okay, it would be the what is introduced. Okay, if we go back here, it's the acid whey, right? So acid whey. So if we look at 5, we have to put 5 after a sentence where acid way is a subject. Okay, everyone, I hope everyone's following me, because of it, the sentence before has to have acid way as an important part of the subject. Okay, so if you look at 3, to address the problem of disposal, farmers have found a number of uses for acid way. So here, it's not really, let me just make sure something. Okay, so we have acid way over here and acid way over here. And we have acid way over here. Okay, so I guess using the it approach, it could go after any of these sentences. And so that's where you then rely on this approach. Okay, so does a pronoun approach make sense? Quick yes or no question. Does the pronoun approach make sense? Right, okay. For 85% of you, it makes sense. All right, I hope you guys are all tracking. I'm glad you're all tracking. I know there's a lot of stuff going on this page, so it's okay. So actually for today, we will just do 1 and 2. We will visit the third portion later, the third aspect later. It doesn't really apply to this question. Okay, so the reason I'm giving you these tools, these are tools to use in your toolkit. For each question, you may have to use a different tool, so it may change. So just according to the question, you will use a different tool. All right, let's do one other question. What's the next reading type question? We will come back to this one. All right, let's do this one. So please, we will do question number 22. And I want you to use whatever tool makes sense for you. Just try using that tool. Okay, and I hope we have moved on from Greek yogurt, but please, you should be in love with the research. What is this guy's research? Whatever, Box is literally your high school crush, okay? You are in love with Box right now. You have to just absolutely fall in love with this passage. Be emotionally involved in it, and you will be able to understand the passage much better. And I hope none of you are falling for the trap. Remember, don't fall for the trap of sentence 4. Please, I hope you're moving the right sentence again. Okay, another 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the first thing is we are absolutely in love with the Arctic, okay? We are in love with the Arctic. Just, my goodness. This is like my life's mission is the Arctic. Just absolutely in love with it, okay? And this passage has been given to me by, let's see, who do I like the most? Superman himself came to me and gave me this passage, okay? So I'm absolutely in love with this passage. So let's do this. What is it saying? Let's do the sentence approach methods. We will do one. This is talking about the research importance. Two is talking about, according to scientists, temps are making, so rising temp means Arctic is green. Three is talking about pattern repeat. Four is talking about organizing a trip. And five is talking about next step, travel. Okay, so this is the steps that we talked about. So this is doing point of sentence. So if you look at point of sentence, if you are going to talk about the next step is travel, the next step of travel has to go before the trip. Oh, sorry, no. Yep, this is our sentence we're working with. So this has to go after. You have to first say next step and then you do the trip, right? Now this is kind of tricky. If you got confused over here, it's kind of tricky. So notice how they haven't put after sentence 3. Sentence 3 is not an option, right? So if you're organizing a trip, it has to go either before sentence 5 or after sentence 5. So after sentence 3 is not an option, so that's why it can only go after sentence 5. Let's do it using the pronouns approach. So pronouns approach, we will do in brown again. So where's our sentence 4? Box is currently organizing an expedition to gather this crucial information. So that this is a critical pronoun here. So that means that the information has already been introduced in the passage. That's why they can refer to it as this. So where has the information that they're gathering been introduced? It is over here. Direct sampling of the ice in order to determine just how much soot is contributing to the melting of sheets. Or actually, the information is determine how much soot is contributing to the melting of the ice. Okay, so this is referring to this sentence here. Therefore, 4 has to go after sentence 5. Yeah. So does that make sense? Do these two approaches make sense to you? Okay, awesome. I love it. 97% of you. This is good progress, guys. We now know how to do one type of writing question, which is a sentence one. So this is slow. I know it's slow at first. If you practice this on your own, you will get better. Please, in the beginning, do the writing. Please write it out. Don't do it in your head. But the more you do this, the better you'll be able to just read and understand it. I want to add, though, this is less necessary if you can really, look, if you do the first part, if you just fall in love with the passage, you will understand it. You won't need to do these things. These things is more if you're not able to employ falling in love with the passage. So really, the falling in love is critical. I can't stress this enough. One other thing I wanted to ask you was, if we are done with 15 days, so you and I now have been on Zoom together for at most 15 days, maybe some of you joined recently. So I have a small request for you, which is that many of you have been calling me sir, or like have referred to me in different names. So I like the name Pulkit Bhaiya. So Bhaiya in Hindi means brother. And so if you want to write an email to me in the future, and don't use sir. Sir is just like, sir is for older people. I'm not that old. I like to think I'm pretty young. So I would love for you guys to call me Pulkit Bhaiya. And if you are not from India and you don't know what that means, that's okay. I will type it out. And you can call me Pulkit Bhaiya, okay? Is that okay? Are you guys okay with that? Quick poll. All right, we're okay with it. I love it. Great. Just don't use sir. Sir is, I feel too old if you use sir. Okay, so we have done sentences. Let's Is there one more in this passage? Ah, yes, let's do this one. Let's go back to this. Okay, so I will show you a passage. Whatever the subject is, you have to immediately fall in love with it, okay? Remember, you should be falling in love with, what are we talking about here? Co-working spaces. My gosh, co-working spaces is the best thing to have ever been invented on planet Earth. All of the major superstars and famous people are at this co-working space. So you want to find out about co-working space. So we will do question 31. Oh, let me launch a poll. Sorry, 1 second. Yep, it's a new paragraph. Okay, we're good. All right, another 30 seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you guys are doing much better. I love it. These results are looking much better already. So let's do the point of sentence approach. So we have, what does one mean? What does one say? Even though I already had, oh, sorry, this is, oops. This is even though, so not here. I, the subject is I, decided to try using a co-working space. So one is try space. 2, or actually no, it's decide, right? He decided. Try. 2 is because I was specifically interested in co-working reporting benefits to creativity. This is a because, so we have I chose, so chose a space. Then 3, throughout the morning, more people appeared. So people appeared. And then we are looking for sentence, this one. So after filling out, another after, filling out a simple registration form, taking a quick tour of the facility, I took a seat at a table. So the one we want to insert, is registered and sat down. So in the story, if you decided to try, then you chose, and then people appeared, you have to register and sit down at the space before you can talk about people appearing in that space, right? So this is why the answer is after sentence 2, to make this logical. Okay? So there's no, if we look for pronouns, there's no pronouns in here unless somebody else found a pronoun. I could not find one. Could you write down in chat if you found a pronoun that I'm missing? No. Okay. Yep. So that's it. This is one of the harder writing questions. So we have done one of the hardest writing questions. There's two more types that are left, which we will touch on Monday. No class this weekend. Very important. There's homework this weekend. Please do paper 1. No, sorry. Please do paper 5 in Khan Academy. Paper 5, reading and writing test. Please do both of these this weekend. Okay. So I'm gonna ask a question. Will you have time to do this homework? Paper 5, reading and writing. If you've already done it, that's fine. That's okay. But for those of you that have not done it, please, paper 5, reading and writing. And then I will send out a survey. Please fill out the survey with your results. We won't be able to spend as much time reading, so it's important that you have already read the passages from paper 5. Okay, 75% of you can do it. Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much. This is the summary of our class today, and I will send you with some more. I will send you out with some more pen masala that they do a cappella, which is like using music from mouth, and they do English Hindi mashups. So noise coming up soon. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Damn, I like the way that you move, so give it to me. Whoa. I already know what you wanna do. Here's a situation, been to every nation. Nobody's ever made me feel the way that you do. You know my motivation, given my reputation. Please excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but tonight I'm loving you. Oh, you know that tonight I'm loving you. Oh, you know that tonight I'm loving you. Loving you. That tonight I'm loving you. Loving you. तेरे लिए ही तो सिग्नल तोड़ ताड़ के आया दिल्ली वाली गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ छाड़ के तेरे लिए ही तो सिग्नल तोड़ ताड़ के आया दिल्ली वाली गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ छाड़ के तेरी आंख का इशारा मुझे फ्रॉड लगे तू तो मजनू वाला भाई गॉड लगे ओ कसम वादे का के अपनी पॉकेट मनी बचा के आया तेरे लिए पैसे वैसे छोड़ छाड़ के घर वालों को भी बादशाह बोल बाल के आया दिल्ली वाली गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ छाड़ के तेरे लिए ही तो सिग्नल तोड़ ताड़ के आया दिल्ली वाली गर्लफ्रेंड छोड़ छाड़ के so damn pretty you know if I had a type then maybe it would be you I know you're ready oh if I never hide then baby you'll be the truth ओ तेरी मलमल की गुर्दी गुलाबी हो गई चली चाल कैसे नवाबी हो गई तो बलम पिचकारी जो तूने मुझे मारी जो सीधी सादी छोरी शराबी हो गई हाँ जीन्स पहन के जो तूने मारा दूंगा तो लड्डू बड़ो संगी बाबी हो गई Tonight, I'm gonna do everything that I want with you. Everything that you need, everything that you want a honey, want a stone with you. From the window to the wall, can I give you my all? Winter and summertime, when I get you on the springs, I'ma make you fall. You got that vibe that make me wanna get up on the floor just to see you dance. And I love the way you shake that thing. Turn around and let me see them pants. You stuck with me, I'm stuck with you. Let's find something to do. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude. But tonight I'm loving you. You know that tonight I'm loving you. Oh, you know that tonight I'm loving you. Yeah. Oh, you know that tonight I'm loving you. That tonight I'm loving.
All right. See you all on Monday.